He checked his watch again as he hurried along the busy New York sidewalk, heart pounding with every step. This interview could change everything. Months of rejection, savings nearly gone, hope hanging by a thread. He adjusted his tie, rehearsing answers in his mind, when a sharp cry cut through the city noise. Near the curb, a young woman in a wheelchair was struggling, her front wheel jammed in a crack, cars rushing past with no sign of slowing. People glanced, frowned, and kept walking. He froze, torn between urgency and instinct, then turned back without another thought. Rain began to fall as he knelt beside her, carefully freeing the wheel and steadying the chair. She looked shaken but composed, clearly trying not to draw attention. Her phone lay broken on the pavement, screen shattered, and she explained her driver had cancelled last minute. He offered his jacket, shielding her from the rain, and guided her safely across the street while traffic honked angrily. His pulse raced, not from fear, but from the growing certainty that he was sacrificing his only chance. Still, he stayed until she was safely on the sidewalk, refusing to rush her. They waited together under an awning while he called a rideshare from his phone. She thanked him quietly, her voice calm yet sincere, and apologized for making him late. He smiled, brushing it off, though anxiety tightened his chest. When the car finally arrived, he helped her inside and handed her a simple business card with his name. She met his eyes for a moment, studying him as if committing something important to memory. Then the door closed, and the car disappeared into traffic, leaving him alone in the rain. He ran the rest of the way, shoes soaked, breath burning, but it didn't matter. Security at the corporate tower checked the schedule and shook their heads. Interview panel had already finished. He stepped back onto the street, rain washing over his face as disappointment settled in. For a moment, regret tried to creep in, but it didn't stay. Somewhere beneath the loss, there was a strange calm. He had done what felt right, even if it cost him everything. He walked away believing that somehow that choice would matter. The next morning began quietly, almost cruelly normal, until his phone buzzed with an unfamiliar email address requesting an urgent meeting. There was no explanation, only a time and a downtown office. Location. Expecting another rejection or clerical mistake, he went anyway, wearing the same suit, now dried and pressed. The office overlooked the Hudson, elegant but understated, and the receptionist greeted him by name. That alone made his stomach tighten. As he waited, he replayed the previous day, still unsure why a missed interview felt unfinished rather than lost. The door opened, and the woman from the crosswalk rolled in, no trace of struggle in her posture. She was composed, authoritative, surrounded by a quiet confidence that filled the room. She introduced herself as the CEO of the very company he had rushed toward, explaining that she often traveled without entourage, to observe how people treated her when nothing could be gained. Yesterday had been one of those tests, though he hadn't known it. She told him the interview panel's questions mattered less than character. She had watched him choose compassion over opportunity, stay present without recognition, and accept loss without bitterness. That decision, she said, revealed leadership no resume could show. She offered him the position he had, missed, effective immediately, along with responsibility to lead a new accessibility initiative across the company's U.S. offices. His shock gave way to humility, and he tried to refuse the added authority, insisting he had only done what anyone should. She smiled and disagreed gently. Most people, she explained, calculated first. He had not. Weeks later, his life shifted in ways he hadn't imagined. He led teams, redesigned spaces, and saw real changes take shape. Ramps built, doors widened, policies rewritten. On the day the first project launched, she joined him at the entrance, cameras flashing this time. As they moved forward together, he understood the truth clearly. Missing that interview had never been a failure. It had been the moment everything finally began.